Shelley, is this when the real hard work begins then?
Well, I think it's already began. I think even way back when we first qualified, way back in September. But I think what it does do, it gives the players confirmation who's on that plane, and it's the fine details. So I think it's been so tough to pick a squad of 23. Part of our philosophy at the start was to create the most competitive environment, and that's been a credit to the players. We've used 35 players over a year and a half, and it was tough to narrow it down to the 23, but we're confident in that group of players, and we feel it's the right selection. We've taken the same approach in every camp, and it's no different for World Cup.
Everyone has been so supportive of this women's squad. Can you tell us about some of the backing you've had from outside influences?
Yeah, I think even it starts here from our own organisation. We're going to be flying out in a charter flight, and that's down to the good work from the commercial team. I think you could see the spectacle today, and I think that external partners, Sport Scotland, are a huge support for us. The Scottish Government, who helped the home-based players train to prepare for the World Cup. So it's been tremendous, but I think just the general public, the perception, obviously, of women's football is changing because we've been successful, and that's something that it's really, for me, it's a watershed moment, because I've kind of started my career as a young girl going through grassroots. So to see, the general public, embrace Scotland getting to a World Cup, nothing makes me happier.
Can you talk us through, Shelley, how you told players?
Yeah, I'll try. I made the decision in consultation with my assistant coach, Andy Thompson, and we thought it was the right thing to do and speak to the players prior to today. And so we made the decision that I would phone all the players, even the players that weren't selected. So I made 33 phone calls yesterday, and it's the first time my assistant coach has actually said you're on your own for this one, because we knew it was tough and it was going to be tough conversations. I have to be honest, even some of the players that were selected, some of those conversations were tough because they've been waiting in anticipation and stressed, if they were going or not. So there was a lot of emotion attached to it yesterday, and for me personally, I totally understand the feelings and the disappointment for the players that haven't been selected, and that doesn't make it any easier. But we have to focus on the 23 players that we've selected, because it's a real proud moment for them, being a group of players that are going to the World Cup for the very first time.
Was that the hardest part, the 10 girls that didn't make the squad? Was that the hardest part of the day yesterday?
I think the hardest part came before that, and actually, coming to the decision about who we were going to take, because they've all done really, really well, and the fact that we have used as many players, they've all played a part. But yeah, for sure, once we made the decision, we decided to make those personalised calls, which I think is the right thing to do, rather than send an email. I have offered to speak to the players face to face as well, and maybe that's in a few days' time or whenever it suits the players. But it was certainly tough. It's the toughest thing I've ever had to do as a manager.
Just looking ahead then, the country's had the benefit of having been to a finals before. How much do you think that will play a part looking ahead to your first World Cup? Do you think it perhaps takes away some of the nerves, the fact that some of the girls had that experience previously?
Yeah, I think so. The more that you compete at the highest end of your sporting discipline, then the better it equips you, because you're dealing with a pressure situation, and that is a difference, playing at the top level, and the best players and the best teams are able to cope playing under pressure. So there's a majority of the squad that have been there. We've got an experienced squad, but we've also got some young players that are not feared of anything. They don't fear anything. So that's good, and I think there's a right balance and mix in the squad. But the Euros certainly, it's been good for us in terms of preparing us for a finals tournament.
Does that then play into the fact that you've set an ambitious target and said that you want to get to the group stage, for a country, a team making their first appearance at a World Cup, and maybe thought we'll just go and enjoy the experience, but you're there to compete, I suppose?
No, you can't just go to a World Cup for the first time and just go to say you're going to enjoy it. There's absolutely no doubt our first priority is to get out that group stage. We know it's going to be tough, but that's the target we've set. It's the same as, when the group was drawn for the World Cup campaign, right away we said our target is to get to the World Cup. It wasn't a play-off. it was to get to the World Cup. So we need to set ourselves aspirational targets, and this group of players have shown that they can achieve that if they get things right on the day, and that's what will matter when we go to the World Cup.
Shelley, just to go back to the phone calls, you mentioned some of the tough phone calls that you had to make of the likes of Emma Mitchell on a real high, of course, from the weekend, scoring an absolute belter for Arsenal. Those kind of conversations with Emma in particular must have been pretty difficult.
They were, and they're personalised conversations and confidential conversations, but it's not easy for the players, and I totally appreciate that. And they'll have a mix of emotions, which is understandable because it is our first time, and they'll be disappointed because they've played their part. And yesterday when I make the phone calls, probably nothing that I say is going to make things any easier for them. So I have to appreciate that as well and give them some time to reflect. So no, it wasn't easy, and it's no easy for the players. Forget about me. I'm always about the players, and I know how tough it's been for them.
And you've got a great load of experience in there as well. I mean, so much experience with the likes of Jenny Beattie and Rachel Corsie, who again captains the side.
Yeah, I mean, Rachel, I don't like singling out players, but Rachel has been an absolute phenomenal leader throughout the campaign. She's an absolute role model as a captain. She's a link between the coaching staff and the players, and she takes her role really seriously, and she's done brilliant. But I have to be honest, none of our decisions were made on emotions and sentiment. It's purely performance. But I have to say, Jo Love got her first cap in 2002. 17 years later, she's going to a World Cup. It's just, that's what dreams are made of. And I know, speaking to a few of the players yesterday, even the ones that have been selected, there was a few teary eyes.
There seems to be a real sort of club atmosphere around the players. How key do you think that will be going forward into a tournament like this?
Huge. Dynamics are huge in any team. If you want to be successful, the dynamics are so important. And we've got a real mix of characters. We've got the quiet ones, we've got the rowdy ones, and we've got the ones that like a wee laugh and a joke. I think Nicola's over there somewhere. But you need that in a group. You need, every single person is unique, and we're really big on team dynamics because there's going to be challenging moments for us, and there has been already throughout the campaign. So you need characters, and you need character in abundance when those challenging moments come. And the group of players that we've got, they're a real special group.
So what happens next? You've obviously got one more game before the World Cup, but what happens next for you and the squad?
For me, a huge relief for me as well. Just personally, obviously, to get the squad announcement out of the way, and I think it's refocusing on now. We've got a game here at Hampden on the 28th of May against Jamaica. We want to win that game. We want to make sure that we entertain the supporters, and for me it's a big message to everyone out there in Scotland: come and support the women's national team, give the players a real good send-off and give us your support, because it's been 20 years since we've been to a World Cup as a nation, and the players deserve the support from our country.
Do you think there'd be a sense of relief now for many of the players as well, those who maybe were a little bit worried about whether they would make the squad and they can fully focus on the next game?
Yeah, I think so. I think reality kicks in now. The confirmation's there that the players have been selected, so now they can really focus on what lies ahead. I know, speaking to the players, that I've been speaking about the logistics when we get to the World Cup, how it's going to look, but I think it's fallen on deaf ears because, until you actually know that you're in that squad, then your concentration lies elsewhere. So I think now they can really focus on the task that lies ahead of us.
Shelley, you've got a really experienced squad. How important will that experience be in the tough games to get as a group and further into the tournament?
Every single game we play in at the World Cup's going to be tough. I think when we beat Brazil, everyone was talking about Scotland winning the World Cup. We need to be realistic in our targets. There's a reason why you have FIFA ranking system in place. So we know that it's going to be tough. None more so than our first game against England. We've then got a tough team to play against in Japan, very technical, and then our last group game is against Argentina. It's going to be tough, but I've real confidence that the team can progress out the group stages, and we need to make sure that our planning's good, that the players are in the right form when we, in particular, arrive for the first game in Nice. And you know, we know that we need to win at least one game to get out of the group stages. So, you know, we've got a plan in place, and certainly for myself and the support staff, we'll do everything we can to make sure that the players are prepared as best as they can be for going into the tournament.
Shelley, it's obviously been a long road to get here, but when you looked at your 23 list and you finally made up your mind, just what was the emotions going through your mind to where you are now, the countdown now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm delighted for the 23 because it's a really proud moment for them and their families. They've worked so hard to get there. But there's also a part of me, the emotional part, that's disappointed for the players that haven't been selected. But now, as I say, the focus now is, and you know, we've selected that group of players, real confidence in them to go and do the job. So now we turn our attentions to the Jamaica game because, you know, as a football coach and manager, it's the next game that you focus on. So, you know, now it's myself, Andy Thompson, my assistant, and Stephen Banks, the goalkeeping coach. We'll go away and further scrutinise Jamaica. We already have, but we'll do it again and refocus on trying to get a positive result and a positive performance.
For you personally, to guide your country to the World Cup when it's creeping up on us, how are you feeling inside?
You know, I read somewhere this morning, I think it was Tom English, had printed something about it's been 30 years and I got my first cap in 1989. So to actually sit here today, pick a World Cup squad, 30 years on, and be at the helm to take the country, the Scottish women's national team, to the World Cup, it's just amazing. That's what dreams are made of. So as much as the players are proud, I'm really proud.
What would it mean to you in that Jamaica game to have Hampden full? The SFA have done a great job with tickets, £5 and £2. What would it mean to have a great send-off for the girls?
Yeah, it would. I think that throughout the campaign, you know, there's been people that haven't watched a women's game have came up to me and said, wow, I watched the Poland away game, that was exciting. We got a record crowd against Switzerland at home at the Simple Digital Arena, over 4,000. I'm actually going out there and saying that get 20,000 to Hampden, come and support the women's national team. We're going to the World Cup, and that doesn't happen too often. So for me, I would urge everyone to come along and support the players, and it would mean the world to myself and the players.
Shelley, from Jordan, News Japan. I know you have special personal ties with Japan, working for a Japanese company for a long time.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Do you have any special emotions playing against them in your first World Cup?
Yeah, I think in a previous job I worked at Arsenal women's team, and I had 2 World Cup winners, and Ono and Kinga, and the most humble players that I've ever worked with. I think the Japanese culture. I worked for a Japanese company many years ago, and you know, efficient, effective, disciplined, organised, fantastic. And I think the Japanese team have proved in the past that, you know, they're real favourites to win the World Cup. And you know, as a former player, I've played against them. I know it's going to be tough because they're real technicians as footballers. So it's an exciting game for us. Different. It will be different from the England game, but certainly we'll need to change our tactical approach and how we play a really tough Japanese team.
I'm sure you've been checking on the recent results, and obviously they're not as dominant as they were before. So do you think that's a match that you have to win?
I think I wouldn't read too much into the results. Obviously, I know Japan competed in the She Believes Cup, and maybe the results weren't what they wanted, but I think they're a team that's in transition, but they've got some fantastic young players coming through, mixed with some real good seasoned pros, so it'll be tough. And I think for us, we will take one game at a time. We'll approach the England game first to try and get a result. Performance first and then result, and we'll do the same with every game that, you know, we play. But I think you have to reflect after each game and then see how you approach the next game. But we know it's going to be tough because Japan are a fantastic team.
Sure, you've got a mix of players who play full time and semi-part time. How important is it to get players as fit as possibly can be over the next few weeks in preparation for this tournament?
Well, I would say that we have a group of players that are all training full time. You know, forget the payments and forget being paid as a professional. The word professional for me means more than being paid for it. Our players in Scotland train just as much as the players that are playing in a professional environment, so I have no worries about that. I think they've proved throughout the campaign that, you know, they can match anyone in terms of the physical capacity. They've played with high intensity in games, so you know, they're in pretty good condition. I think the pleasing thing for me, even although it's been the hardest thing, that we've had, you know, 33 players that are all fit, so that's a credit to the players because they've worked extremely hard. Myself and the coaching staff, we couldn't have asked for the players to do any more. Every single one of them, they've done everything that we asked, so you know, we're in a good position physically going into the tournament.
I guess it could be a big boost to the domestic, even if there's 7 players in the squad from last week.
It's great. It's great for women's football in Scotland. You know, as a national team coach, you always want the players to be playing in the most competitive environment. But I think it's huge kudos to the players themselves, the respective clubs, that they've put themselves in a great position to be selected, and it's based on merit. So they've done a great job. I have to say a huge thanks also to the Scottish Government and Sport Scotland for, you know, funding and supporting them to train more on the build up to the World Cup. But it's really pleasing for Scottish women's football. You know, again, you know, to the clubs out there, I would urge them to invest more, because if you invest more, this is the results that you can get.